Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Telesphoros Games video. I'm Telesphoros, and in this video, I'd like to take some time to give my advice to any other starting out game dev beginners. Now, this video is for anyone who's either thinking about starting to learn how to make games, or perhaps who has already started their learning path but might be having a little bit of difficulty. I use Unreal Engine, but I think this advice applies to anyone who's starting out, no matter their engine or tools of choice. So let's jump right in. Tip number 5, just keep swimming. I'm going to use an analogy of an ocean for my first piece of advice. When you first dive into game development, it can seem like a lot. There are a lot of aspects to game development, and if you're just starting, you might feel like you're in over your head. My advice is just keep swimming. Starting is going to be the hardest part, and between familiarizing yourself with the game development environments, learning how to troubleshoot issues, and settling in on a decided specialization, you might feel like you're just flailing around in the water at first. That's okay, because if you're in the water and you're flailing around, you're making waves, and eventually you're going to attract a good school of fish to swim with. There's a whole world of other amateur game developers out there, and a ton of amazing communities full of helpful and friendly developers, just like yourself. So find a good school of fish to swim with, and be friendly and connect with those you meet along the way. Another concern I hear a lot is about computer specs. I can say that if you can start the engine, you can start to learn it. I know that a lot of folks don't have the computer power it takes to process, say, thousands of high-quality shaders, but don't let that discourage you. You don't have to be on the leading edge of technology to make a successful game, and even less so to begin to learn. On a side note, I'll mention that Minecraft is the most popular game of all time, managed to accomplish all that with under 500 megabytes of data and very low graphics quality and machine spec requirements. Tip number 4, don't reinvent the wheel. At first, when you start to feel comfortable in your environment, it is a lot of fun. A whole world of creation opens up to you, and for creative folks like myself, it can seem like you can do anything. I can remember when I first started to feel comfortable coding my own features in my first true sandbox game, I started to get carried away with solving problems that I didn't realize others had already solved. I was, as they say, reinventing the wheel, learning my own way to solve problems that the rest of the world had already solved. For example, I spent half a day figuring out how to make my character turn in place. The course I was taking at the time did not cover the topic, but I simply could not go without the feature. I came up with something that worked, but was by no means ideal. And only a month later, I was taking a course that taught me the correct way to do it. I did this with a lot of things. See, I spent time trying to figure out my own answers, when in retrospect I could have saved a lot of time and frustration by just continuing with my lesson plan. I'm not saying not to spend any time trying. I just mean, don't hesitate to seek help, and start with the documentation. You might be surprised at how often the answers to your problems are written plainly in the how-to manual. This is tied closely to my next piece of advice. Tip number 3. Stick to the flight plan. If you do decide to take one of the many great courses available online that will help you to learn how to develop a game from scratch, my advice is simple. When it comes to the course, stick to the lesson plan. Oftentimes when I first started, I wanted so badly to let my imagination run wild with creating and implementing what were, to me, fun and exciting new features. But I ended up learning a valuable lesson after I let myself get carried away too often. You see, if you're doing a course or tutorial, oftentimes it's important to do things exactly the way the instructor does. One line of mistyped syntax or a piece of code in the wrong place could break your function and potentially stop your game from running at all until you fix it. It's easy to see how adding any additional code of your own can quickly start to interfere with what the instructor has planned. Now I find it much more efficient to complete a course in entirety and then add any additional features that I want. Another issue that drifting from the lesson plan brings up is when something doesn't work. Suddenly it may not be a feature that hundreds of other students or community members have seen before, and you may find your issues more difficult to solve. In the beginning, just do the very basics. Adding your own creative touch will be possible and much easier a little bit further down the path. Tip number 2. take a step back and get inspired. Now, I often hear a lot of my peers talk about feeling burned out and unable to continue studies because they aren't having fun anymore. Now, the learning can be a long process and isn't going to happen to anyone overnight by any means. And sometimes it feels like all that you can see is what's right in front of your face. And if that's a concept that you've been struggling with or a lesson that you haven't been able to completely grasp, things can start to seem pretty tiring. When everything gets a little foggy and you're running low on inspiration, I suggest to take the time to get a refill. Take a step back, give yourself a break, and take some time to really focus on and think about the things that inspire you. Remember why you started, what you're passionate about, and dream about what it would be like if your goals were to come into fruition. What would that feel like and what would that look like? Don't think about the actual path and the journey that it's going to be in order to get to that spot. Instead, just reach as far into the future as you'd like to in your imagination, and just imagine what would it feel like to have those goals accomplished, to have your dream game released, or to have your dream job with your favorite company, or whatever it is that drives you. Envision that success and get a refill on your inspiration. Do some searches for images that lift your spirit, or for other success stories, or maybe motivational speeches could be just what you need. Whatever it is that might motivate you, spend some time and make sure you just focus on that. Tip number 1. Can and can't live in the heart. Don't ever tell yourself you can't do something. Can and can't are neighbors that live as beliefs in each individual. Remember, where there is a will, there is a way. I think that a lot of people have limitations that exist more in their own thoughts than anywhere else. Don't give up. In the words of the great Napoleon Hill, if you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. And if you haven't already, please remember to like the video and subscribe so that more videos like this appear in your subscription feed. It'll also really support my channel a lot and
save the entire planet.
So thank you so much. Telesphoros out of here.